Yes, my name is Peter Barnes. I'm posing a question for you regarding, well, thank you for your comments so far, and especially I appreciate the points you've made related to inclusion. I think that our society definitely needs to be as inclusive as possible. I'd like to pose a question that relates specifically to an alternative supportive housing. I'm a member of Cornerstone Housing, and we are striving to become the first large supported community in Newfoundland and Labrador.
All right.
And this community, some of you may have heard of Jean Vanier and the fact that he won the Templeton Prize this past year, which is the most prestigious awarded prize in the world. And he has been the founder. This year is the 50th anniversary of the founding of L'Arche Homes, 147, thank you very much. 147 homes, communities that have been established around the world. Newfoundland is one of 2 provinces in Canada that does not have L'Arche Homes. I would like to know if you would be open and supportive of the joint funding, because that's the way it works. L'Arche Homes are jointly funded by governments and local community organizations like ourselves to have supportive housing, alternate housing, because it's based on a community model. Have these models of community for people with intellectual disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you. This time is Earl McCurdy, followed by Paul Lane, and then Clyde Jackman.
I think there's a tremendous amount of room for innovation and creativity in how we address our housing challenges and shortcomings. I think a good place to start is to look at what's happened elsewhere in the world. For example, I met a while ago with a psychiatrist from the Waterford Hospital who advised me something I wasn't aware of, that I believe it was the Netherlands, they have a dementia community. And you know, that just struck me as a very innovative and idea as to how to deal with a challenging problem. I believe that social enterprise has got, hasn't come close we haven't come close to realizing the potential of social enterprise in our province. There are some fabulous examples in place now, and I think we have to build on that, because the challenges are many and are complex, and it's not just a matter, I don't think, of government coming up with all the answers, because we don't have them. But I think it's how we engage with people in the community, and especially with people with ideas and a willingness to try something new. I think we have to always be willing to look outside the box. And I think the whole area of housing is one that lends itself. I've got a document that thick to wade through in the next few days that, as to how you finance different ways of doing things like housing. I think, and there are examples elsewhere. I think we need to kind of broaden our vision in how we do that kind of thing. So from our point of view, absolutely, we would be very interested in talking to anyone with ideas as to how we meet needs. And a 3-bedroom bungalow is not the solution for all circumstances.
Thank you. And now, I was looking at my list here, Paul Lane.
Yes, thank you for the question. I think it's fair to say, and I think we would all agree up here, that we've all had spoken to many people in the province. I certainly know I have spoken to a number of constituents, people who have an issue when it comes to housing, whether it be lack of housing, whether it be housing that they simply can't afford, whether it be housing which is in disrepair, and so on. And we know that there are a lot of challenges out there when it comes to accessible housing, and we know there are issues around persons requiring not just housing, but requiring supports as well in order to live independently in that housing. And that's really the goal we all need to strive for. So I guess in that vein, I would say, similar to Mr. McCurdy has said here, I think that if there were creative solutions out there, and particularly if they are proven models, they've been used in other places and they were proven, then I think any government that's worth its salt in addressing a lot of these social issues would certainly want to and be willing to sit down with anybody who has suggestions and alternate ways of delivering public services. And again, as Earl has said, the social sector is certainly has not been tapped into nearly enough. I've had many discussions with Penny Rowe on that particular issue, and there are lots of partnerships that can be formed between government and between different organizations, and so I feel pretty confident in saying that we would definitely be open to having those discussions. I mean, obviously, without having all the details and everything, you would have to do due diligence when you're talking taxpayers' money and so on. But with all that aside, we'd definitely be willing to sit down, I'm sure, and have that conversation.
Thank you. Clyde Jackman?
Yeah. Thank you. It's a very interesting question, and I think from a government, we've already shown that we're willing to think outside the box a little. We've taken that look in the healthcare system, and through the affordable housing initiatives. Right now, we have agreements that are in place jointly with the federal government, where there was some $28 million that we have over the next 5 years to enter into partnerships with private and not-for-profit groups who can provide that type of service in I would say, a non-traditional manner. That's what I can say to you, that I think we are already looking outside of the box. If there are ways that we can enhance that, we would be willing and open to that. But I think we can build on what we already have in place.
Thank you.